What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Innerpartysystem. And we're returning to the self-titled album, 2008. Thank you again to Izzy. And he did remind me that there's one more regular tune to go after this one, Heart of Fire. Then there's a hidden track, which many people will remember. I certainly, when I was growing up, I had several albums, especially those in the 90s. I don't know if it was especially common in that decade or whether because of CD technology it's something that became more prominent, which, CDs were around, I think, in the 80s, but they became more ubiquitous in the 90s. But yes, a hidden track, and then after that, a bonus tune. So we have a few more after this one, but Heart of Fire, it suggests a heart full of passion, or at least intensity. Of course, fire can refer figuratively to anger or a sense of vengeance, but I don't know, perhaps there could be one of those possibilities. Most notably, maybe it's a blending of those different feelings or metaphors. But yes, a heart of fire is certainly not a calm and tranquil heart. It's not a heart that is warm and placid and content. It is a heart that needs something, whether again that's intimacy or love or vengeance. So yeah, there's an intensity suggested thematically just by the title alone. Let's give it a listen. This is Heart of Fire by Innerpartysystem, which is from the 2008 self-titled album. Oof.
Tells the truth. Sit back, relax, recover. Find time for you, forget. Get down and clear wonder. Whoever tells the truth. Baby
till the end, till the distorted and filtered signal peters out. So, yes, there's some clever meta composition going on here. So, lyrically, to start with that, I'm actually torn, because at first it sounded like he was saying, and I think he is saying on some level, that when this narrator and this other person being addressed were together, there was a disparity between what was really being felt and what was being said, what was experienced and the message that was conveyed to the other. And of course, on a longer term, even maybe in the shorter term, that's not a recipe for longevity and perseverance together. It's a set of conditions that is likely to lead to mistaken expectations, unfulfilled emotions or understandings, and thus a breakup, which it sounds like there was. But he also seems to be addressing like a larger trajectory of his own, like all the people he's dated, all the people he's ever felt and known, perhaps intimately, perhaps, psycho-emotionally. And he's also saying, like, stay with me to the end, which, okay, the end can happen quickly, meaning the end of some connection, some experience, might not be the end of life, but of course, it could be till his expiration. And the distorted, filtered, almost like too intense to withstand sonics at the end suggests like maybe it is a burnout, or it's a going down in flames. And what was the line that he said, like he was going to surround their heart in lies or something? I don't know if I was hearing that right. It could be fire, of course, heart of fire, but it sounded like he was saying like lies, which again, if I'm reading some of the earlier lines correctly, the idea that he's saying like, I told you what it was easier to tell you, maybe what you wanted to hear, not what I really felt, not what was really happening, and thus, like, I allowed you to love me more because I didn't burden you with my insecurities or my anxieties, my upset feelings, and thus, like, in a way that would actually indicate his love, because he's self-sacrificing his own feelings and his own possibility for calm and clarity and so on, to make it easier on the other partner. So yeah, there's a lot happening here. I believe the passion and intensity, and of course the vocals really help convey that, as well as the intense, like, frenetic sonics for most of it, which I really enjoyed. So, like, again, I think it's articulating some of the very themes that are being discussed and delineated. I just don't know all the detailed contours of what's happening narratively. I will say I particularly like that moment, maybe like 2/3 into the track, where you can feel it building, and I knew it was going to sort of take a breath, have one of those dead pause moments, and then drop back in with intensity. And that's right what it did. It's, whether it's techno or electronica or, synth pop and even punk rock, there's lots of songs that find a way to, like, bring you to the edge of a cliff, let you waver there for a moment, and then plunge you back into the sonic intensity. So I like the way it did that, and it was very intuitive when it happened. So yeah, another great track. As I said, I believe the last one is the final track proper on the album. Then we'll have a hidden track and then a bonus track after that. So thank you again to Izzy for this journey. Do let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.